Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we are once again going to be talking about that major upcoming snowstorm, and actually today we're going to be presenting our official forecast for this one as well, so stay tuned for all of that. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. I'd also highly recommend that you check out our very exciting store. You can check that out in the description and the pinned comment down below. Also, our Patreon page, where we just made a post about another upcoming snowstorm after this one, potentially for Monday through Tuesday for the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast. So if you want to check that out, you can do so. It's cheaper than the price of a coffee, and you can always cancel at any point. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, which state do you think is going to see the most snow from this snowstorm? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now let's get right into this video, and first things first, we're taking a look at those warnings, those hazards, those watches, everything like that. And as you can see, we have those blue areas for Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, and that's going to be our winter storm watches. I do expect to see some winter storm warnings go up, obviously, some winter weather advisories. We're going to see all sorts of warnings, watches, and advisories go up very, very shortly. That's actually a high wind watch there for portions of southeastern Massachusetts as well in those brown shades. Let's get right into the simulated radar. We're going to be using our European model here. First things first, here's our storm. This is like right now. And as you can see, we actually do have some precipitation there. That is actually our storm located over Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee. We have some rain going on. That is going to make its way northeast, and that's when we're going to start to see some major snowfall going on. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on. We're going to move on towards late tonight, as we're going to start to see some snowfall as it moves towards the northeast. Now here we are by about 2 a.m. on Saturday, December 5th, and as you can see, we have moderate snowfall going on there for portions of West Virginia, the Smoky Mountains a little bit there as well. Our low pressure center is located in between North Carolina and Virginia, but really that low pressure center has not met up with the cold yet by this point, so our storm hasn't really begun. As we get towards about 1 p.m. on Saturday, that's when we really begin to see this storm come together as we zoom in towards New England, Connecticut, Massachusetts, portions of Vermont and New Hampshire as well, starting to see some snowfall, especially Connecticut and Massachusetts there in those hillier regions of those two states there. And look, this storm is trended further and further east, in my opinion. I think this one is looking more like an eastern New England storm at this point. The low pressure center, as you can see, is located pretty well offshore of New Jersey. This is a decent nor'easter. This would be what we call a Miller B nor'easter. So this is the type that really heads out through the Mid-Atlantic and then up the New England coast, as opposed to heading out through like the southeast and then going up the entire coast. That would be a Miller A. This is a Miller B. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to move on towards about 2 p.m. on Saturday, where the snow is going to get a lot heavier for Connecticut, Massachusetts, including Boston, and New Hampshire and Maine as well. All right, now here we are by about 2 p.m. on Saturday, December 5th, like I said, and that's going to be tomorrow. So we're talking very, very soon here. We're only about a day away from this one, and there is a chance I'm going to be updating this video tomorrow morning because there's going to be time for it. I could update this video tomorrow morning, and the storm won't be starting out for another 6 or 7 hours from the point I'm starting to make that video. So there's a very, very good chance that tomorrow's video is going to be the final forecast for this one. I can update it to the most recent information. And I think you guys would probably appreciate that because then we'll get the most accurate information as well, obviously. Now, we're seeing moderate snowfall here for the northern half of Connecticut, the northern half of Rhode Island, pretty much all of Massachusetts except for that southeastern corner there. Southern New Hampshire, southern Maine, they're all seeing some moderate to heavy snowfall. Those purples there in between Connecticut and Massachusetts are very heavy snowfall. I just want to put that out there. The interesting thing, though, is it is going to get a lot heavier. As you can see, we're at about maybe 5 p.m. here on Saturday, December 5th, and we're seeing very heavy snowfall here for eastern Massachusetts, portions of Connecticut and Rhode Island as well, now heading up through New Hampshire and Maine. This is going to be a very intense situation. Our nor'easter is located right by Cape Cod there, as you can see, as a 986 millibar low pressure center. This is an intense storm, probably going to be one of the bigger New England storms here that we're going to have this winter. And as you can see, by time we're reaching about 8 p.m. on Saturday, we have a 984 millibar low pressure center, and it's kind of moved further east here. We can still see moderate to heavy snowfall for eastern Connecticut, most of Rhode Island, well, pretty much all of Massachusetts by this point, a lot of New Hampshire and Maine as well. And then as you can see, by the time we're reaching 2 a.m., we have a 979 millibar low pressure center, so it's intensifying, and it's still moving further northward. We're seeing a lot of that moderate snowfall, mostly just for Maine by this point. And then by the time we're reaching maybe about 8 a.m. on Sunday, we can still see that moderate snowfall, but pretty much exclusively for Maine there. And by the time we reach the afternoon hour, maybe evening hour of Sunday, it's all coming to an end. What we're going to do here is we're going to move on. And we're going to move on and take a look at that total snowfall according to our European model, our GFS model, our NAM model, our RGEM model. And then finally, at the very end, we're going to get into that official direct weather forecast for this one. Now, the good news here is that we actually do have very good agreement from our models. That's the very good news. As you can see, this is our European model, which is the one we just used for simulated radar. Anywhere in the grays, we're generally looking at about a dusting, if anything. So for the Adirondacks, portions of the Finger Lakes regions, the Berkshires, the Green Mountains, really, it's trended further east than Vermont even. We're taking a look at mostly just the New Hampshire, Maine, and Massachusetts special, I guess is what I would call it. But a very significant amount of snowfall is expected here. As you can see, anywhere in the blues, we're expecting anywhere from about an inch to maybe 3 inches of snow. Maybe more, probably 4, 5, 6 being possible in the darker blues. In the purples, 6 to 9 inches of snow. There's not a lot of purples though. Anywhere in the pinks, we're taking a look at about 10 to 20 inches of snow. And then those kind of bluish pastel colors up there for Maine. That's where we're taking a look at about 20 to 40 inches of snow. The maximum being picked up here is 34.4 inches of snow there in Maine. So a very significant amount of snow being predicted by this model. All right, let's move on, take a look at our GFS model. As you can see, really, really good agreement here. Pretty much the same region seeing the very heavy snowfall, a general 10 to 20 to even 30 inches of snow being predicted for portions of Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine there. Very similar regions. It has a lot of heavier snowfall down there for more in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, a little less for Maine there. Let's just move on and take a look at our NAM model, and this one's a little bit further east than the rest. This one has Boston pretty much right there in the bullseye, expecting maybe 10 inches of snow according to this model. Up through New Hampshire and Maine, has that very heavy amounts up there for Maine as well. Now let's just take a look at the one outlier, which is the Canadian model. And today we're using the RGEM model, which is my absolute favorite wintertime model. And this one disagrees with all of the bunch. I will say I think this model is going to be wrong. It's an outlier. We only have about 24 hours or so until the storm is reaching New England. I think this model is going to crash and burn as far as its forecast here. I think the rest are on the same page. I think they have a good idea of what's to come. What we're going to do here, finally, is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at my official forecast for this storm. All right, now first things first, we have our dusting to 3-inch region, and that's going to be for this entire white region. You can see some of northwestern Pennsylvania, but mostly for a lot of New York there, all of Vermont, all of New Hampshire, most of Massachusetts, most of Connecticut, all of Rhode Island, and all of Maine there are going to at least see some flakes or get up to 3 inches of snow. Now, for this light blue region, that's where we're expecting 3 to 6 inches of snowfall to occur. A lot of Vermont there, all of New Hampshire, most of Maine, most of Massachusetts, and some exclusive regions there for Connecticut and Rhode Island. Now for our 6 to 10 inch region, for this deeper blue, there's 2 regions actually. There's a one miniature one and a very large one there as well. For the miniature one, that's mostly for our Berkshires and portions of the Green Mountains. That area always seems to overperform compared to the rest of the regions. I think they will crack above 6 inches of snow. Basically north of Boston, I expect 6 to 10 inches of snow. You might be wondering, why are my amounts so much lower than the models? Well, the models are predicting the amount of snow that's going to fall from the sky, not the amount that's going to accumulate on the ground. I had to really work hard to figure out what I want my forecast to be here. So I'm going a little more conservative than the models. If things get a little more aggressive tomorrow with the models, I might as well increase my amount. That's the beautiful thing about the snowstorm starting in the afternoon. I have an opportunity to update this tomorrow morning. But for now, this is the forecast. 6 to 10 in this deeper blue region. We have one there for New Hampshire, a lot of Maine and Massachusetts as well. Then finally, we have a 10 to 15 inch region as well from the White Mountains up through the northern half of Maine there as well. So that's the area that I expect 1 foot or more to be possible. And then we even have a 15 to 20 inch region there for a pretty isolated region there of Maine. That's a pretty small region. And I do expect this could shift around a lot. I don't expect the 3 to 6 inch amount to really change much, or the 6 to 10 inch amounts. That could go a little bit further south or further west a tiny bit. And then that 10 to 15 to 20 inch region, we could bring that further south as well. I do see the possibility for southern Maine and southern New Hampshire, possibly even northern Massachusetts, to definitely see 10 inches plus. So if that is the case by tomorrow morning, if I increase confidence with that, we will be seeing those forecasted amounts come much further south. But for now, this is the conservative guess. This is all the models combined. This is what I expect to happen. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, how much snowfall do you expect anywhere to see? Like, what's the maximum amount this storm will bring? And Zeta Durf, who just had probably her, 20th comment of the day. The one thing I'm going to say to you guys is a lot of people will complain about me always picking Zeta Durf. They're very specific, as you can see. I think Zeta Durf is a girl, so I'm going to go ahead and say she. She's very specific, and she answers the question exactly the way I ask it. And if you guys are trying to get featured on the comment of the day, take notes. She always answers my question precisely, and if you guys do that, there's a large chance that I will start picking other people. But anyway, I asked what's the maximum amount of snowfall with this storm, and Zeta Durf said the mountains of New England looks to get anywhere from 1 to 2 feet of snow from this storm. It has shifted east since then, but probably the White Mountains could see 1 to 2 feet. So yeah, good comment of the day there by Zeta Durf. Anyway, for today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our diamond patrons: Michael Codalessa, Alicia Davis, Marcus Conley, Catbite, Alan Sherry, Terry Curtis, It's Jay, Cindy Klein, Bill Roberts, Kellen Manhart, Michael Buell, Mariah Vieira, Noah Harley, and Mark J. Alongside our platinum patrons: Adam S., Justin Quantrill, John Benbenick, Donna Carnes, Alan Belemo, Larry LePan, Dovie Nagel, James Wade, and Cameron Marshall. If you would like to be featured on this Patreon end screen, you can do so by joining our Patreon page in the description and the pinned comment down below. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.